Sometimes when we look at the world, we feel quite discouraged as we see all the evil things happening around us. Especially nowadays when everything isn't really black and white. If we look closely, there are lots of things out there that we can cherish and celebrate though. In fact, nature always has the way to show us that love and kindness are everywhere, and animals are a good reminder of that. Today we're going to be looking at 10 wild animals that saved human lives. If you're already familiar with our channel, you'll know that we love animals, and we always look for stories about bravery and heroic acts performed by all sorts of animals. These stories will surprise you and will show you that heroes come in all shapes and sizes. The animal at the top of the list is pretty scary, but you might change your mind about it once you learn what it did for a human being. Number 10. The baby elephant. Thailand is famous for its many elephant sanctuaries. A lot of them, of course, are quite controversial due to the fact that elephants are mistreated and abused in order to satisfy the needs of sometimes ignorant tourist groups. However, some places are actually doing a great job at taking care of their elephants, and they honestly treat them as if they were family in a safe and comfortable environment. An example of this is the Save Elephant Foundation in the city of Chiang Mai. They have this baby elephant named Kham Lha, who immediately came to rescue her human friend as soon as she saw him calling out for her name. The cute baby elephant thought the guy was in trouble, but he actually just wanted to say hi. Either way, the elephant charged through the water and sheltered the human friend against her trunk and brought him safely to the shore. There was no evident danger surrounding them, but this just goes to show that Kham Lha is ready to help her human friends whenever they need her. Number 9. Sheltered by dolphins. There are some people out there who are really committed to their sports, like this guy named Adam Walker who went for an 8-hour swim across the Cook Strait back in 2014. It was all fine until he came across an intimidating white shark that was likely going to turn the epic swim into Adam's last time in the water. Luckily though, a pod of dolphins were also swimming nearby. Once they spotted the threat, they surrounded Adam and sheltered him to keep the white shark away from him. Adam was able to finish his swim, survive a shark attack, and as a bonus, he can now say that he swam with dolphins. That sounds like a ton of bucket list stuff checked off, and he wasn't even trying. Number 8. The dolphins and the shipwrecked woman. Dolphins are quite popular in this kind of list. Every time I talk about humans saved by animals, there's at least one mention of dolphins, and today is not the exception. This time there are more than just one story on the list. The next one involves a woman named Yvonne Vladislavic, who was traveling on a boat off the coast of Mozambique when suddenly the engine stopped working. After a while, the boat began to sink when it was hit by a wave. Yvonne was a good swimmer, so she decided to try and swim back to the shore. What she didn't know was that there were 6 sharks very close to her. They began to swim in circles around her, threatening to keep her from ever going back to land. Luckily though, kinda like the previous entry, a group of dolphins came to the rescue and shielded Yvonne from the sharks, allowing her to swim until she finally reached a buoy. Yvonne admits that the swim wouldn't have been possible if it wasn't because of the dolphins. She was getting tired and she could have drowned if she didn't have these friendly companions. Number 7. The pet snake in the house fire. The next animal on this list is not necessarily a wild one since it became a pet. However, I still consider it quite wild since I know a lot of us would never consider getting close to a snake, let alone having one inside our homes. Our story begins in China with a man named Yu Fang, who brought a dying black snake into his home to give her another chance at living. With the help of some herbal medicines, the snake recovered in a matter of 20 days. For that reason, it shouldn't surprise us that the snake and its owner began to bond after that. Their connection was so deep that one day, Yu Fang woke up with a cold feeling all over his face. It was the snake, and apparently this snake had an important message for his owner. There was such a sense of urgency that the snake was even grabbing the guy's clothes and whipping her tail against the bed. Suddenly, Yu Fang realized that his mom's electric blanket was catching fire, and he wouldn't have noticed if it wasn't for his friendly snake. Reptile experts claim that a snake is not capable of doing this sort of thing on purpose, but Yu Fang is convinced that the snake is his friend and that the sneaky reptile is paying back the kindness she received from him. Number 6. The seal and the shark attack. We have seen a lot of sharks on these lists, and usually the heroes are the dolphins, but here's a story with another brave animal hero that saved a human in need. Despite the warnings regarding sharks in the area, Mr. Michael Cohen went for a swim off the coast of Cape Town, South Africa. Moments later, he became the victim of a shark attack, which led him to lose his right leg and more than 7 liters of blood. Lucky for him, though, there were two men who saw the whole thing happen and they came over to Michael's rescue. Now, what these men were not aware of was that the shark was coming for a second attack, but these guys didn't have to worry about it. People who witnessed the scene say there was a seal nearby that fended off the shark and allowed Michael and the other two men to make it to shore and get him the help that he needed. Number 5. The Deer and the Woman. Deer seem like very peaceful and docile animals. I can't imagine them getting in trouble. If anything, I kinda always picture them running away for their lives. But the deer in this story shows us otherwise. It all started when a woman was leaving a party in Oxford, Ohio when a man attacked her from behind. He started choking her with her own purse and even punched her in the forehead. It seemed like no one was around to come and help her out, and probably there weren't any humans near the crime scene. But there was a kind and brave deer who jumped out of the bushes and scared the attacker away. It all happened so fast that the attacker didn't even get a chance to run away with any of the woman's possessions, and the woman got to keep her life, thankfully. Number 4. The Gorilla and the Little Boy. Since humans are part of the primate group, it shouldn't surprise us that a lot of these animals share a lot of things in common with us. They might not use our language, but their actions speak louder than any words that could ever be spoken. One example is the motherly instinct that some of these animals have shown to humans. You might think this stuff only happens in movies, kinda like Tarzan and his gorilla mom Kala. However, it can also happen in real life, like that time back in the mid-90s when a 3-year-old boy fell inside a gorilla exhibit at an Illinois zoo. There were 7 gorillas in the exhibit, including 7-year-old Bitney, who was holding a baby gorilla on her back. She ran to the little boy, picked him up, and placed him near a door so a zookeeper could come to retrieve the boy. It sounds like Bitney is a very loving mother and an amazing animal as well. If she could do this for a human kid, I'm sure she does all sorts of loving things for her own little ones. Number 3. The Lions and the Girl. I have mentioned this story many times before, and I honestly never get tired of it. After all, how do you get over the fact that lions took care of a girl after rescuing her from kidnappers, which is pretty shocking, isn't it? Back in 2005, a girl in Kenya was kidnapped by 4 men while she was walking home from school. A week later, a pride of lions showed up to her holding place and chased the kidnappers away. And if that wasn't enough, the lion stayed with the girl until police authorities showed up and found the girl, shocked and terrified. Once the help came, the lions left. It seems like they just wanted to make sure that the girl was safe, which is pretty unusual for lions. Now it's time for the day's best pick. It sounds like we have a lot of animal heroes in the world. Every time I make these lists, I find more and more stories about brave acts that save the lives of many humans. One thing I see in common is that a lot of these situations involve saving the human from other animals. The picture I have for today shows a man being attacked by some aggressive lions and a brave dog coming to his rescue. Number 2. The Boy and His Dog. Back in 2009, there were rumors that a cougar had been seen in Enchantment Park, Washington. However, when authorities went out, they couldn't find the animal. It was until dusk on a regular Saturday when an innocent boy went out and encountered the wild beast. The cougar jumped on the boy and attacked him, but luckily his 2 dogs were with him, and they fought the cougar until this one finally left them alone. At the end, the boy thankfully only had minor injuries, but I wonder if the case would have been different if the dog had not been around. I know dogs are domesticated animals, but they can definitely act like wild ones when it comes to protecting the lives of their owners. Before we move on, do me a favor. My analytics show that only about 15% of you watching are actually subscribed. Come on guys, what's up with that? Can you guys please hit the subscribe button? You guys watch my videos every day anyway, so you might as well subscribe and keep up to date with every video we put out. Number 1. Mama Bear and the Wolf. Joanne Barnaby was picking morel mushrooms with her friend when suddenly a wolf began to stalk her. Soon enough, Joanne realized that the wolf was very smart, and the animal managed to separate her from her friend and was probably trying to make her tired so then the wolf could come over and attack her. After 12 hours of trying to get the wolf off her back, Joanne found a mama bear who had separated from her cub. If you know anything about mama bears, is that they will do anything for their cubs. Joanne was very aware of this, so she decided to stand near the cub, so if the wolf decided to attack, mama bear would come over to the rescue. Sure enough, Joanne heard an animal fight. Mama Bear was growling and the wolf was yelping. This allowed Joanne to run for her life and make it back home safely. Maybe Mama Bear was not intending to be a hero on that day, but this just goes to show that we can definitely get in some big trouble if we ever try to mess with their cubs. I hope these stories inspired you, and I hope you're being kind to animals just like they've been kind to us. What was the most inspiring story? Any other animal story you want to share with us? Let us know in the comments section down below. With all that said and done, that's our video for today, folks, and I will see you all next time. Later, everybody.